Hello everybody, how are y'all doing? Welcome back to Man City Unplugged, your very own Man City fan channel. There's been some news in the transfer market for City, especially yesterday night. Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein, and pretty much all the tier one journalists associated with City were reporting that City have agreed a fee for Sergio Gomez. The fee is between 10 to 15 million pounds. So City have finally signed a left back. We will talk about this a little bit later. That whether this will be the only left back signing this in this transfer window, or will we sign another senior left back? Because Sergio Gomez is 18, 19 years of age, and the initial plan from City was to send him on loan to Girona, one of the City Football Group clubs, so that he can come back next season after gaining a bit of experience and then work with Pep Guardiola. But looking at the failure of Cucurella transfer, City were very confident about the Cucurella transfer, but then but unlike Manchester United, we have backups. We have other backups. We'll talk about those backups a little bit later. But so City actually thought they'll get a senior fullback for sure. So the plan for Sergio Gomez always was to go out on loan to one of the City Football Group clubs. But with the failure to land Cucurella, um, I think the noises around the club now are that Pep might actually keep Sergio Gomez this season around the squad. Now, a little bit of things about Sergio Gomez. What is he like? The first thing I'll say is kudos to Vincent Kompany. Vincent Kompany has continued the tradition that Pep Guardiola has brought on to City. Kudos to him, salute to him. What did Vincent Company do to continue the tradition of Pep Guardiola? He has converted Sergio Gomez, who is a central midfielder, who I think 2 3 years back was started. He was at the Barcelona academy back then, and he was started as the next best thing and the next highly rated midfielder to break through. Uh, Vincent Kompany has converted him into a left back at Anderlecht. So Vincent Kompany is following in the traditions of what Pep did to Fabian Delph, what Pep did to Zinchenko and stuff. So essentially, people say that Sergio Gomez is Zinchenko 2.0. He is much more pacier than Zinchenko and has great vision because he was one of the elite. He was at least touted as one of the upcoming star midfielders at La Masia before he moved to Anderlecht. JSK says, hey bro, hey JSK, how are you doing? JSK says, I guess this kid is also from La Masia. Yes, JSK is from La Masia and he's been converted into a fullback by Vincent Kompany. He was a central midfielder. So he has more pace than Zinchenko. Obviously, he's a midfielder, so he has vision. But again, it's one area which I thought we will surely address this season. That we will bring in a fullback who is good defensively. Since when was the last time we had a fullback who is good defensively? Kolarov wasn't good defensively. I think we'll have to go way back to Clichy maybe. All those years 2011, 12, Clichy, and we signed Bakary Sagna from Arsenal. I think we'll have to actually go back that long to get a glimpse of a fullback who's been defensively strong. So all the fans are actually shouting out for a defensively strong fullback. But so Sergio Gomez is definitely not the one. Is not defensively strong. Football fans is La Masia the best talent producer academy in Europe? Yes, yes. Right now, yes, it is a football fan, but uh, in after next 5 years in the next decade, the best talent producing academy will be at the Etihad. It will be City's Youth Academy. We are so close. We have already cracked that code. We are already producing good youth products. Palmer, McAtee, Delap, Ford, and Josh Wilson as brand. So you can see the supply chain coming through, and it will be at its very peak after in the next 5 to 10 years. So that is the thing. One thing is really surprising me about the way we are going after fullbacks, because since we pulled out from the Cucurella deal, we are essentially looking at fullbacks who are defensively. I mean, who are attacking, who are attacking, attacking stronger, attacking by stronger, but they are weak defensively. See, Sosa is a bomb going forward, but is weak defensively. Ait Nouri is okay. He pocketed Salah, but is not as uh, good defensively. He's not top notch defensively. David Raum is the same. So. Are we now looking? Is Pep now looking at a change of formation? Could I mean, could this be an indication of the things to come? Could this be an indication that Pep is telling, I'll maybe play both of my fullbacks in the midfield, or I'll maybe play three at the back against tough oppositions, so that the major role of my fullbacks will be an attacking one and not a defensive one. I think that is this is the indication at least which I'm seeing looking at the kind of targets Pep is going for, looking at the kind of formations he's experimenting with. So it will be very interesting how he goes against Bournemouth, because I mean, I'll not be surprised this season if Pep has different formations against different coaches depending on the tactics they use. JSK says, by the way, Petri was not from La Masia. Oh, I didn't know that, JSK. Actually, that's something new. Football fans says, have I say Petri is from La Masia? He was from last Hamas. Okay, that is actually very good to hear. That's a new thing actually. That's a new thing for me, because looking at the style of how Petri plays and all, I always thought that he was always brought up in La Masia. He always has that La Masia DNA, Barca DNA instilled in him. But that's a new thing, because I was thinking that Petri is from La Masia all this while. So, like we were talking about it, West Ham counter-attacking team, he put the fullbacks in, both the fullbacks, which was a bit of a new thing, and he asked the wingers to do a bit of a defensive work and stuff like that. So now against Bournemouth is a low blocks. So are we gonna see three new formations this season? One formation is against counter-attacking teams like your West Ham, like your Spurs and all, and another formation against all the low block teams that probably cover most of the teams, 10, 12 teams at least in the Premier League. And we would have a third formation against maybe teams like your Liverpool and teams who press high. So I mean, this is very interesting for me. So maybe three different formations. Maybe I think in those three formations, 4-3-3, the normal formation which we play is reserved for a Liverpool, maybe with the Bernardo Silva in the middle and things like that. Very interesting on this formation thing. I think Pep will change the formation, and because Pepper said in a press conference before this that Walker is there, Cancelo is there, only two fullbacks. They can't obviously complete the entire season, especially with the World Cup coming up and stuff. So you can't just play both of the fullbacks in the traditional positions. Now, inverting fullbacks for most of the Premier League season are important, because against low block teams are important, because A, they prevent counter attacks, B, they ensure that most of our players can play in those positions. Now, against West Ham, Cancelo and Walker played there. You might well have played Calvin Phillips on one side and Bernardo Silva on the other side. It would be the same. We would have not missed the heartbeat, right? So maybe, or Nathan Ake on one side, for example, when Laporte is fit. This is, I think, a genius move from Pep. Wonderful move. I was just thinking about this for a while, and today, and I'm like, wow, no fullbacks, because in most of the clubs, if you don't get a player, at United, Mourinho didn't get a player. Just an example. What did he do? He comes out into the press and he shouts at the board. He has a jig at the board. But Pep Guardiola, he doesn't get a player. The relationship between Pep and the management is so good that Pep doesn't get a player. What does he do? He comes up with a solution. He rejects the entire thing. This is wonderful. This is why City have won four of the last five Premier League titles. People say you buy anyone whom you want, money and all that, but when you can do this, when you can transform an entire system, that too without any practice in the Community Shield or any practice in the preseason, this is wonderful from Pep Guardiola. David Moyes was actually stunned. Football fans says, I've been watching football from 2000, Rivaldo, Ronaldinho. Gaurav is here. Hey Gaurav, how are you? He says, will he stay at City or not? That is the question, Gaurav. That again depends on if we if we manage to sign a next senior, if we manage to sign another senior fullback like a Sosa or Ait Nouri or whoever it is, or Alex Grimaldo, then Sergio Gomez will go. But if we don't manage to sign another fullback, then I think Sergio Gomez will stay. I, I mean, the noises from David Ornstein and everyone around the club is that he will stay. He will stay this season, but it again depends on. I mean, personally, if you ask me, I don't see us getting another fullback this transfer window. I know that is not the news you want to hear. That is not the thing we want to hear. But this is because looking at what City have done in the past. We didn't get Harry Maguire, for example, right? Good, we didn't get him, but we didn't get him. But what did we do? Generally, clubs panic buy, right? 80 million pounds we were prepared to pay for Harry Maguire, 75 million pounds, and United outbid us. We waited and then got Laporte in the January transfer window. So same thing for Ruben Diaz. So I actually think that we are a sort of a club who, if we don't get our target, we back our coach to work through the system, go through the season, and then we'll assess it in the winter. If we need, we'll get someone in the winter if it's absolutely necessary, or we back our back to actually compete and win things at the end of the season with this. So looking at our track record of numerous players who we went after and didn't get, we didn't panic buy. I don't expect us to get another fullback. I think Sergio Gomez will stay. That will complete our team, and on we go. I think. Am I happy with it? I would have been happier with the senior fullback, but then with Pep's change in system, I don't think it matters. Personally, I don't think even we should care if Pep is playing this system, because it's the same. Pep has so many midfielders, and it's literally like anyone can play anywhere in them positions. So I actually think that with this formation, we might actually not need another thing, another fullback. Football fan says, bro, Bernardo speaks, but he's so open. We'll actually get into that. Bernardo Silva has spoken out about his thing. What Bernardo Silva says that he has an honest relationship with the club, and they speak almost every day. And Bernardo Silva tells this club is so good that if a player is unhappy, he's allowed to leave. This was almost a Bernardo didn't do it wantedly, but it was almost a wink, a jig at Daniel Levy, for example, last summer, that he didn't allow Kane to leave even though we were prepared to pay over 100 million. Bernardo Silva, in a way, indirectly indicated that City is not that sort of a club, even though they're in dire need of someone. Like, people have this perception that if City are in absolute need of someone, they don't allow a player to leave. Ferran Torres was an example, right? We were in need of strikers. Pep was grooming Ferran Torres to be a striker, and he wanted to leave to Barcelona, and we didn't stand in his way, and still we won the league, we won the season, went deep in the Champions League. And what did Ferran Torres do? His season was an absolute disaster at Barcelona. So if a player is unhappy, we don't leave. Like, I think even JSK was mentioning it a few days ago, that if Bernardo wants to leave, let him leave, because we are much more than a single player. The show must go on. So I think that's exactly the stance of the club. That's exactly the stance of the fans as well right now. That it's good that our fan base is much more together on issues like this. And if a player is unhappy, we know that a club is bigger than any single player, and he can leave actually. Gaurav says, JSK says this August nearly impossible. Even if they buy him, they couldn't register him. JSK, but they are not able to register even Frank Kessie. They are not able to register Christensen. I mean, the rumor from Spain is that Barcelona have until Saturday to register players. If they can't register players until Saturday, then those players might become free agents again, like your Kessies and like your Christensens. There was an article in Guardian, I think it was Guardian or the Daily Mail, that was stating that should City look at someone like a Frank Kessie if Bernardo Silva leaves, if he's a free agent and things like that. I highly doubt that will happen. Barcelona will allow those players to be free agents, but this is the difficulty of I don't know how Barcelona are now trying to snap up Bernardo when they're not able to register the players that they have actually bought. Gaurav says Bernardo will leave in the next season. That's the harsh reality. Yes, Gaurav, he will. I think that is the most. He will leave in the next season. But then it could be much more better for us if he leaves next season, because at least then we will be in a position to compete for a Jude Bellingham against Liverpool, or compete for other highly rated midfielders in the market. Then this season, the problem was not Bernardo leaving. The problem was Bernardo informing us that he was leaving late. The problem was Barcelona showing up their interest very late. So that was the problem. Otherwise, maybe we could have even got the replacement of Bernardo by now. Who knows? We could have got even Jude Bellingham by now. JSK says this August nearly impossible. We did this. JSK says and only 18 days left to the end the window. He won't be sold unless Barca paid 80 million and they find a replacement. But JSK, the turning point here is, I think it was 2 days ago, Fabrizio Romano was mentioning it. He mentioned two things: that Bernardo is still the obsession of Xavi. And then I don't know why Fabrizio keeps on mentioning this one statement that Bernardo is the obsession of Xavi always. I don't know. But then Fabrizio said that if Frankie de Jong is sold, at least in the next week or week and a half, then the Bernardo Silva deal will happen, because Barca president, it seems, is obsessed with Xavi. Barcelona board have made it think that they will get Bernardo whatever it takes. That is the sort of thing in the Barcelona board. That's what Fabrizio was saying. So I think it all depends on the Frankie de Jong deal, because there are rumors linking Chelsea actually with Frankie de Jong, and the interest is concrete, and some of the reports are stating that if Frankie de Jong, I mean Chelsea are prepared to pay the wages also which Frankie de Jong is owed by Barcelona. So I think once Frankie deal is done, I think this Bernardo deal will be really fast, I think. And the news is that City want to state 100 million euros or something for Bernardo Silva. I mean, just imagine if Barca pay City 100 million euros for Bernardo Silva. Should we just go in this summer, swoop in and just give those 100 million euros and bring in Jude Bellingham to replace? Dortmund have stated that Jude Bellingham is not for sale, but if you give the money, if you stump up the price, I don't think any club will hesitate to that. So 100, for Jude Bellingham. If we sell Bernardo Silva for round about 90, 100, I think that should be a good summer if we can get Jude Bellingham and if Bernardo leaves. I know it's difficult for that to happen, but that would be the dream signing actually. Football fan says what Bernardo himself said, anything can happen means he's open to leave. Yes, football fan, we have been discussing on this channel since I think 2 weeks, 3 weeks, even a month ago. I think we were discussing the options that if Bernardo leaves. So we know that Bernardo will leave for sure. It's just that we do not want Bernardo to leave this late in the transfer window, because it would just mean that City are handicapped. It would mean that City are almost handing an advantage to Liverpool in the title race, which you cannot do. In a title race which could be decided by millimeters, which could be decided by points, a single point. So that is the thing. JS this transfer is not in the hands of Bernardo, not even Pep. Titsiki is the one who will decide, and he won't sell him without a replacement. JSK, I think the transfer thing, I think it's a combined decision, because generally people say that Khaldun Al Mubarak, Tixiki Bagaristan, and Pep Guardiola, they sit down and then they decide on when you're finalizing a player. So I think it's a combined decision, and Pep's input, they say, is highly valued at the club. So yeah, Tixiki has the final this thing, but it seems that, I mean, depending on the information that we hear from inside the club sources and all, they say that Pep has vital inputs given to Tixiki, and the thing with Tixiki is the financial thing, making sure the deal is done, but they say that Pep's input matters at least 50 to 60%. I think one of the proofs of that is, look at the quality of players coming in before Pep came and after Pep came. Under Pellegrini, Tixiki was hit and a miss, right? Wilfried Boni, Fernando, there were the couple of Mangala, there were a couple of flop transfers. So it's been. I mean, when Pep came, Pep Tixiki, when they teamed up, who are the flop transfers at City? I don't say Benjamin Mendy is a flop transfer because that is another case. I don't even see any flop transfers at City. So I actually think that it's teamwork. Football fans they will be registered tomorrow. Half knowledge is dangerous. Yeah, I mean football fan. We were telling that they were given time till Saturday to register. But then again, who gives you the information that they will be registered tomorrow? Even that is less than half knowledge. How can Barcelona suddenly register players tomorrow? So we will see. JSK says he can leave, and from now onwards, City should not buy any Spanish and Portuguese players. I mean, JSK, I think we have Spanish. I do agree with you, but it's again I don't know because we have had a legend in a Spaniard who is David Silva, and David Silva got was the obsession of Pep Guardiola, for example, when Pep was at Barca and David Silva didn't go. So I don't think it would be a general case. Portuguese player, for example, Joao Cancelo, would he go if a Barca come calling? I don't think Joao Cancelo would go. Would a Ruben Diaz go? I don't think a Ruben Diaz would go. So I mean, I'm actually stunned even now that Bernardo Silva wants to leave. It's a personal issue and all I understand, but still, because Portuguese players, okay, Ronaldo went to Real Madrid, but are there any major Portuguese players who have gone from a top English club to Madrid, Barca in the past? Rare, right? So, and I don't think we can generalize the case, but yeah, there have been we should be careful about signing them in the future. Football fans says Gerard Romero said operation can be done around 60 to 65 million. So finger cross. I mean, football fans, Gerard Romero is absolute. I don't want to even use those words on the channel, but Gerard Romero is an absolute mouthpiece to Barcelona. I don't even know how those kind of people are even allowed to do journalism. I literally do not know who is Gerard Romero. He's just putting out all of the information that Barca wants him to. Is he reliable? He has been because he's very close to Barca, that's all. But when it comes to things about other clubs, he's not reliable. David Ornstein has come out, I think it was yesterday or day before, and he has told you, and Sam Lee has told, I think that 100 million euros is what City are prepared to state. What operation? What will you do an operation for 60 to 65 million euros? How can they do it? 65 million euros? Peanuts. Is Cucurella and Bernardo Silva. I mean, Cucurella was signed for 65 million pounds, right? They want to do Bernardo at around 55 million pounds, 10 million pounds less than Cucurella price. Mate, you want to sign a player? Barca want to sign a player who is the best box-to-box midfielder in the world right now. Is way better than Frankie De Jong. So, and he has 4 or 5 years left on his contract. How do you even expect that to happen? I don't know what Gerard Romero is thinking. JSK says, I want only South American, English, and German players in City. But JSK, have you seen Pep has always done this thing? Um, I mean, whatever team he has gone to, be it Barca, be it Bayern in Germany, be it at City right now, see, he has always built a strong base of that local national contingent. You look at, for example, our team itself. There is Foden, there is John Stones, Calvin. He has bought in Calvin Phillips now, so he's slowly building that strong spine. He wants to bring in Jude Bellingham. So you can slowly see that spine appearing of the local national team. So I think Pep has a good enough reason to do it, and we can actually see now Kyle Walker, by the way, 4 or 5 players in there who are from the English national team. So actually think that's actually a really good strategy, and that's what we need to do. I think if Pep stays for 3 to 4 years, whatever you said will actually happen. There'll be more of South American players and things like that. And English players, he'll concentrate more on the English contingent than anything else. Vinay says Gomez in senior team seems Pep lacks his versatility, but is not good enough defensively. I actually think that we should congratulate the versatility of Pep Guardiola more than the versatility of the player, because when is the last time you've seen a manager who changes formation so that all of the players he has can display their best? no fullbacks. Cancelo is struggling to play at left back. I will not play with a fullback at all. I'll make sure both of my fullbacks play in midfield. Even Sir Alex Ferguson couldn't do this, for example. So I think the players are versatile, but Pep Guardiola is more versatile than anyone. Football tricks is people don't realize Foden is Cam at the end of the day. We don't need to buy anyone because we have Foden who can do that role. Football tricks, I think Pep has actually spoken about this Cam thing related to Phil Foden. Pep has told that uh, Phil Foden needs to, learn how to control the tempo of the game. Pep told that Phil Foden only plays the game at one pace. He only has single pace. So that is one thing which he needs to work on. But I've always thought that Foden is actually the best when he plays that deep role in that sort of Bernardo Silva role, in that sort of Gundogan role, in that sort of deep role, and it's an interesting thing that Phil Foden can actually make runs from the deep like a Gundogan does. Phil Foden can press like a Bernardo Silva does. And Phil Foden can do another thing which both of these players cannot do. Phil Foden can pump those balls in, those long balls in to find the forward, just like an Andrea Pirlo can do. So Foden can basically do these three things, almost like a three players combined in one. And I think that we are looking at Lucas Paqueta, but do think that Phil Foden needs to play in that box to box role because I mean he's safe on the ball, he's press resistant, he has that energy, excellent work rate. I do not see any negative quality for Pep not trying Phil Foden in that box to box role. So I would love to see him. I would love to see Erling Haaland looking to go and Phil Foden. You guys remember last season? I think it was in an FA Cup game. Phil Foden was playing in that deep midfield role and he put in a ball to Jack Grealish and Jack Grealish ran through and finished it. Just imagine if Haaland is getting those balls day in and day out. Now teams will not know whom to mark. So, so I always thought that Phil Foden is much more will be much more effective in that deep midfield role than uh, Cam role. Vinay says Lucas Paqueta has that abilities escaping the press, but Bernardo does in deep defense versus Paqueta doing in midfield. That's the difference. Exactly, Vinay. Paqueta does it, but Bernardo doing that thing when Liverpool are, for example, pressing high and Bernardo is escaping the press and then bringing the ball out from the goalkeeper, from the centre backs. One mistake there, literally one mistake there, and they're giving an open goal to the opponent player, to a Liverpool player in this case. So can Lucas Paqueta handle that delicate job? So that is actually the question. And if you ask me personally, I don't think so. I think Lucas Paqueta is a better replacement for Kevin De Bruyne. Then I don't say he's a De Bruyne range player. Here we're talking about the best attacking midfielder in the world right now. But Lucas Paqueta, they say, has attributes that he can eventually grow into that De Bruyne role, then play that Bernardo Silva role. But if we get Lucas Paqueta, I would maybe play Phil Ford in the deep lying role and play Lucas Paqueta maybe if you want to give rest to Phil Ford, sorry, De Bruyne in that advanced role, or play him, stick him on that left wing as well. They say that he can play on the left wing also. Football fans says, bro, have Spanish manager in talking not to buy Spanish player. Hypocrisy is what Barcelona have always been doing. Football fan, hypocrisy is Barcelona telling UEFA, Barcelona bribing UEFA to put that financial fair play case on us. Barcelona giving that letter of consent to UEFA to run a FFP case on us. That is hypocrisy. Where did all of these Spanish connections, not just the manager, we have Spanish connections of Tixiki Bagarestan, Ferran Soriano, many Spanish people at the club, a few Spanish people in the coaching staff. When Barcelona did all of that on us for FFP, where did that Spanish connection go? That was absolute hypocrisy from Barcelona. It won't take a minute for City to send their lawyers behind Barcelona and take out all of these things. How are they getting money to register all these players? They are inflating sponsorship deals and all, and all of that stuff. Few reports from Spain say so. So hypocrisy is what Barcelona did to us. Pep said in a press conference as well. I think it was a year ago or so, year or 2 years ago, that we will not forget the clubs who went after us in FFP. We will not forget the clubs who we thought were friends, but who went after us, who almost pulled it from the back. So hypocrisy and all, Barca knows whatever they did. No City fan will forget what they did to us. JS says he's Catalan, not Spanish. Half knowledge is dangerous. Vinay says Foden can be Bernardo. He can escape players easily with dribbles and has that pace to even track back in midfield. Exactly, Vinay. Exactly. He can be more than Bernardo. He can be a Bernardo, a Gundogan, and an Andrea Pirlo combined together. And I mean, how often can you find a player who has the dynamism to make those runs into the box, but who also has that vision to ping long passes, and who also has that vision to ping small passes, play those 4 5 yard passes like a David Silva. So Foden is a complete package. I do think that Pep is waiting for the right time to introduce Foden into the deep line midfield role. Pep feels that Foden does not have the experience. What is the age of Foden? He's at least 4 5 years younger than Bernardo Silva. So Pep feels that he does not have the experience to deal with those sensitive moments at least now. So I think maybe in a year or so, maybe Pep will introduce Foden in the midfield role. I always think the destination of Foden has always been in the midfield role. The destination of Foden has always been to control the strings of the matches. It has always been to, be involved in each and every movement like a David Silva is, for example. For Foden, the best thing for Foden is to be involved everywhere, but it's just that Pep judges that the right moment has not arrived to send Foden there. The moment Pep sends him into that central midfield role, Foden will get even better. You'll see now Foden is at world class level, but even you'll see Foden break that world class ceiling once he's introduced into that midfield role. Football fans is mouthpiece, so shut mouth of English journalist. Vinay says no pacey wingers is a problem. Julian Alvarez is the pacey winger, but then again, Vinay, we can actually, I think we can actually cover this problem with a pace, with a forward who has supernatural pace, Erling Haaland. I mean, I, I still I mean, I want to repeat this that Johnson in the West Ham defense, right? Johnson has the pace equal to a Sterling almost, and he could not even get near Erling Haaland for that second goal. So I actually think we compensate not having pacey wingers with having a pacey forward. But then I think Alvarez is pacey. You can play Alvarez on the right wing, for example, and play Foden on the left wing. Then suddenly it would seem that Foden has good acceleration, Foden has good pace, Alvarez is good pace. Suddenly Haaland is a monstrous pacer. I think it should be fine. I think it should be absolutely fine. But then again, you can't help but think what would happen if there was a Leroy Sané or someone who has that pace along with Erling Haaland. How will the defenders mark? Both Haaland and Sané go in at the same time. What will the defenders do? I actually can't help but think about it. Football fans is Chelsea overpay Cucurella. It depends. Football fan depend based on the situation, because okay, for us Cucurella was an overpaid 62 million pounds because Pep can adjust the system. I think Pep, what happened was Pep had a chat with Tixiki Bagarestan, and both of them discussed that do we actually need Cucurella 62? If you're desperate, I'll get him. But Pep says no, I'll just change the system around. Who we have, that's enough. But at Chelsea, can Tuchel change the system around, for example, or he can't, right? So last season, both of the wing backs for Chelsea were injured, Chilwell and Reece James, and the season collapsed. People forget this. People say that City only spend money, but we were in a similar situation in the Centurion season, right? 2017, Mendy injured long term. We don't have a long term fullback, left back. Chelsea didn't have Chilwell. Their season almost collapsed because Alonso was not good enough. Pep played a Fabian Delph in that left back position, and when he was injured, Pep brought in a Zinchenko. And doing that, we have won 4 of the last 5 Premier League titles. And what did Tuchel do, for example? One fullback is injured, season over. So I think having Pep Guardiola really means that we don't need to overpay for players at all. Even if you don't get a player, you can be damn sure that we will compete for the title some way or the other. This is the difference. This is why Pep Guardiola is way above others. People say checkbook manager, he spends a lot and stuff. Even if you have $1 billion, even if you have an open checkbook, can you do these formation changes? Can you play midfielders at left backs? You can't, right? So I don't know the basis for these people, for all of the rival fans making all of these stupid arguments about Pep Guardiola, money and everything. Zinchenko, Fabian Delph playing Cancelo in the midfield, playing a Sergio Gomez in the midfield, for example, in the future. This is not money. This is the genius of Pep Guardiola. JSK says it's a false rumor confirmed by Simon Barjowski and Jack Gone. Yes, yes. Football fans says Catalan not a country. JSK having Vinay says Catalans separate themselves on Spanish. Even Pep JSK says Catalan are not even region based. Catalan is the region. Excessive knowledge is even more dangerous. Vinay says, yeah, Foden is more direct. Control, you mean Jorginho type of play. I mean, Jorginho was always a pass master, right? That is why we wanted to get Jorginho. But Foden, I think, is better than Jorginho because Jorginho, for me, is always a liability defensively. He's weak defensively. Last season, you remember, Jorginho was back there defending when Chelsea were having a corner and United launched a counter attack. I think it was Sancho who scored a goal against Chelsea that time. Jorginho is always a liability defensively, but with Foden, you suddenly have someone who is. I mean, he's direct and he's very good defensively. I mean, it's both are contrasting attributes, and that is what is so special that a player has both these attributes. So I actually think Foden will be very special. He has more control, but he has more control both offensively and defensively. JSK says, I guess we should go for Anthony. So Foden can play as Cam, and I can't rely on Grealish. But JSK Grealish was better right against West Ham because we actually found the keys to release him. So I now think the keys to release him are Josh Wilson Esperant playing there on natural left back position or playing Cancelo on the inside. I mean, tucking in the midfield. This means that I think the thing about Jack Grealish is you need to give him space to run into. People think that Jack Grealish draws a lot of fouls. Jack Grealish can be tripped down easily and things like that. But the thing with Jack Grealish is Jack Grealish doesn't enjoy playing in small spaces. Jack Grealish needs that lush green grass to run in front of him. So I think with Pep tucking in both our fullbacks, I think Grealish has that space, and I don't think Grealish Haaland combo. I would like to have a look at the Grealish Haaland combo even more. How does it work out before maybe go for another winger? But Anthony, are you actually sure about Anthony JSK? Because I haven't looked at him as much. It's just hearing from friends and stuff, friends who are United fans and stuff that they have been linked to Anthony and all. But I actually don't know much about Anthony. Is he that good? Is Anthony worth 40-45 million pounds? Do let me know in the comments because I haven't seen Anthony play. Vinay says Anthony isn't pacey, I guess. Maybe Vinay, but I'm not sure because I haven't seen Anthony play much. The only thing I've heard about Anthony is about him linked to United, and that too for that too from my friends who are United fans. JSK says, I guess football fan is the real fan that I've encountered few times. JSK says came with a changed name. Exactly, JSK. Exactly. I think that's it. What you're telling is maybe right. What you're telling is maybe right. Yes, I will do. I will actually do. I'll actually block him. Vinay says people were really surprised that Bowen was invisible. Pep doing Pep things. Vinay, actually, the thing is, when David Moyes was surprised, I think West Ham did not actually know where to go because last season at the end, right, we played them in a traditional 4-3-3, which meant that Antonio could be up front, which meant that Gerard Bowen could be up front, and you could just pump in balls to him, right? You remember balls in the midfield. Antonio got those balls in the midfield, and then. He used to play in Gerard Bowen. I think West Ham scored two goals like this. West Ham scored two goals like this actually last season at the very end. But this season, with having fullbacks tucked in, you essentially had Kyle Walker and Joao Cancelo on them runners. So West Ham could not run anywhere. The runners were absolutely absent. And Declan Rice, Soucek with the midfield, blocked up. City were almost having five, six people sometimes. With Haaland also dropping, it was almost seven people, right? Sometimes into the midfield. So West Ham were absolutely didn't know what to do. And David Moyes, the hilarious thing was David Moyes coming after the match and telling in the press conference that this is cheating. It's almost David Moyes, seemed like a student who received a question paper that was completely out of syllabus. I mean, not just out of syllabus. Moyes seemed like someone who had completely studied the wrong subject for an examination. It's like you study English and the exam is. Social studies or the exam is mathematics. So that is how David Moyes is like, well, they haven't played like this in preseason. I have seen the clips from the last 2 years of City playing. They haven't played like this. How come they played like this? From where did City get this formation? So it's done. I would like to see another surprise against Bournemouth, low block. I can't just actually wait for the low block thing. By the way, Mendy pleaded non-guilty. Looks like he'll be back at the Etihad. Uh, we actually don't know the particulars about the case JSK, but he pleaded non-guilty. So we'll have to see how does that hearing come out, because we as fans do not know. I'm sure we as fans do not know the entire details of the case and things like that to actually be on one side and say yes, he has not done it. So we do not know. So the only thing we can do is now wait for the entire trial to get over, and then if he's non-guilty, then so be it. Then we can actually see if he's cleared of all the charges. Then we could see whether City want him at that time and stuff like that. Vinay says Thomas Tuchel and Conte need specialist in position, not in case of Pep. Though that, yeah, Vinay, that's actually a very good point. Both Tuchel and Conte are coaches who have a rigid system, right? And once you know how to play against that system, they leave the club and go on to the next club. Antonio Conte is actually perfect example to the point you stated. 2016, right? Pep's first season, Conte wins the league with Chelsea. Almost the formation of three at the back of Conte was a bit new than in English football, and no one could counter that. Then in January, something strange happens. Mauricio Pochettino, who always used to play a 4-3-3, matches the formation of Antonio Conte, and Conte loses. And the next season, all the managers start to do that, and Conte is sacked. He almost has a fight with the Chelsea board as it happens, and he's actually sacked. So you're right, Conte and Tuchel, that is the major difference. Pep, I think there's actually no formation in the case of Pep. It's just fluidity. It sometimes seems that Pep says just play fluidic football and just cover each other's position. If Bernardo goes into the fullback position, Cancelo, you come in. If Cancelo goes forward, KDB, you drop in. If Rodri goes back, John Stones, you come in. I think it's almost like, an artist painting his working on his favorite artwork. That's how free flowing Pep Guardiola's football is. It's just absolute fun. That's why players don't get tired playing Pep Guardiola's football. After Pep left, even 2 seasons after Pep left Bayern Munich, people were always saying, the players there were always saying, we want Pep Guardiola's training methods, we want Pep Guardiola's style. So Pep has never left the club because the players were tired of his regimen, players are tired of his system. Never. It's that Pep has been tired and he has left. But with Conte and Tuchel, especially with Mourinho, the thing is actually a bit different. That coaches leave because the players are tired of the regimen. So that's a big difference between Pep Guardiola and others. JSK says Anthony is the exact carbon copy of Rafinha. Oh, I'll actually have a look at the strengths and what does Anthony do. JSK, Rafinha was actually, again, I thought Rafinha would be in the English Premier League and go to a good club, maybe Liverpool, maybe Chelsea. I thought. I know Barca just ruined him. I do think that Rafinha was perfectly suited for the Premier League. I don't know. Why he went to Barca. Football Freak says Sergio Gomez signing reminds me of Zinchenko. They say he's Zinchenko 2.0 with he's a more pacey version of Zinchenko because he's also a midfielder who was turned into a left back by Vincent Kompany. Vincent is carrying on the traditions that Pep Guardiola started with Fabian Delph. So that is wonderful for Kompany actually. So I mean, but the thing is, he's defensively vulnerable. So you can say Sergio Gomez is Zinchenko uh, 2.0. Vinay says, I'll take Rafinha over Anthony. He's got that pace and skills. Guys, are you able to hear the sound now? I think the sound should actually be clear now. I think. Uh, Vinay says, I'll take Rafinha over Anthony. Has got that pace and skills. He's got the pace. He's got okay. It's clear now. Yes, yes. Thank you so much. He's got the pace and he's got the skills as well, right? But he's gone to Barca, so Rafinha is actually not available. So I don't know why he went to Barca again, and I don't see the incentive there with what is it trying to prove with Barca, unless you live in the past. See, this is the thing. This is a strange thing. Okay, people go on people go on the past traditions and stuff. For example, why do they go to a Madrid? Why do they go to a Barca? Right, the traditions are there. It's a legendary club. It's been done by Xavi, Iniesta, Lionel Messi, and people like that. Right, but what people don't realize is you have the future in front of you. You have the present now, and at the present, if you can do it at another club, you might actually be looked upon in that ilk of a Messi, a Xavi, a Iniesta, and all. I don't know why people just want to follow the traditions instead of them looking to create the traditions, instead of them looking to be the trailblazers. So for all of the players who have chosen Barcelona over any of the other clubs, over Chelsea, over City, any of the other clubs, this is the thing. Why do you want to be the someone who follows in the footsteps of others? Why don't you want to be someone who sets the footsteps themselves? Who is the creator of the trend? So that is my thing. Vinay says. Ravi with the new account. Sound not clear. I think actually sound is clear. JSK or make me or Vinay mod. We will do the work. I'll make one of you guys a moderator JSK. Actually, that will be very helpful. That will actually be very helpful. I'll actually do it tonight after the show. So yeah, that should make the discussion more healthier actually. Vinay says Gomez has pace. That's what I want. Having pace is one thing, Vinay, but I, I, I cannot tend to disagree with you here because Jesus Navas had pace and turned him into one of the best fullbacks. After he came, he is one of the best fullbacks in the Spanish league right now. So having pace is good, but then having the defensive sense is another thing. See, all of the pacey players have not been very good defenders. So it's almost pace is almost a double-edged sword. Without having pace, if you have that sense of positional sense, you can still defend well actually. So has to be seen how this Gomez thing works out. My one thing is Gomez has been transformed from a central midfielder into a left back, right? So his first instinct will always be to drift into the midfield. So how do you tell him to maintain the discipline? That is the thing, discipline of maintaining the width, for example, so that a Grealish or De Bruyne can operate, for example. So these are the little things actually. These are the little things. By the way, do any of you guys actually think that Josh Wilson Esbrand has a chance of starting this weekend against Bournemouth? Vinay says. kiddish behavior ruining discussion. Exactly. We are here for actually good discussion. So if you want, I mean, everybody is welcome here. If you want, just participate in the discussion, have your inputs in the discussion. I mean, taking it long, taking it away onto another subject from the discussion, it's not helping anyone, right? So yeah, just because Maldini, Totti, Del Piero, Nesta, even Maradona, real legends didn't go for easy glory. Exactly, Jessica. Exactly. That is the point. That is the point. You can never become a legend if you want to just walk in a path so that others have walked in a path. See, why is a David Silva a legend? Let's talk about our club. Why talk about other clubs regarding this? Why is a David Silva a legend? Why is a Nyaya Taure a legend? Why is a Sergio Aguero a legend? They came to our club when no one else dared to come. See, is Kaka a bigger legend or is David Silva a bigger legend? Is Yaya Toure a bigger legend? It's obviously a Yaya Toure and David Silva than Kaka, because Kaka was afraid to come into the unknown at City. Kaka was afraid to believe at City when a David Silva did when he had offers from Barcelona, for example. So I actually think it's a very good point. You have made legends are made when they go into the unknown, when they smash ceilings, when they actually create a path rather than going for easy glory. All of those people who are going to Barcelona right now, I mean, I wish them all the best, but I wish they realize this, that a footballing career particularly is short, and if you have the talent, it's actually better to create a path than to go in someone else's path. Vinay says Maldini Nesta is the best defensive duo. I mean, those even the fullbacks back then, right? Which Milan had, they were also bombed. Actually, that entire defense was actually bombed. JSK says Kaka was a flop in Madrid. JSK says Maradona left Barca for Napoli, who was Burnley of Serie A, and he gave them a Scudetto, which is something Ronaldo and Messi can never do. And JSK, even today, Maradona is like, I think they've even named a stand in that stadium in the name of Maradona, and Maradona still is one of the legends of Napoli. He's a legend of Italian football. So that is the thing. That is the difficult thing. Creating things, creating creating legendary status is the difficult thing. So I don't know when these players will realize that Kaka was a flop in Madrid. Yes, again Kaka chose the easy way and things like that. Again, Ozil came to compete with Kaka, right? And Kaka always wanted to go back to Milan than compete with Ozil. So there itself you can visualize the personality of that player, right? Because a player who really is after that legendary status, who really wants to set that path, will compete no matter whichever players comes for competition. So now I feel good that we didn't get Kaka, because Kaka would not have been able to set a status like a David Silva did. Kaka would not have been able to believe in the dream when no one believed it, about it like a David Silva did. So good that we didn't get Kaka. Vinay says, I'm Messi fan, but in regards to Maradona, I'll agree. CR7 fans might kill you, but that's the truth. That's actually the truth. What a Maradona did, a Messi and a Ronaldo cannot ever do. Why did Ronaldo go to Barcelona? Sorry, Real Madrid, for example. They were the best club. They were almost having Galacticos, Kaká, and all of those players, and they were winning things, right? So and you look at the conditions when Maradona went to Napoli, vastly different, right? It could almost be equated to when a David Silva came to us, because even then we were not winning things, we were just building it, right? I don't know, for me always, when I mean personally, for me, if you ask me the question, for example, would you like to be part of a team that is actually winning everything and stuff like that, or would you like to be a part of something that is building from the ground up and then you're being transformed into a winning team? I would always appreciate that process and then be part of the winning team than go into a ready-made winning team, because being part of the process like a David Silva did, Aguero did, when De Bruyne was part of the process 2015, Pep is part of this process. So I think that would give me more satisfaction. That is the thing. I don't know why people go to Barca just like that. JSK is, even I'm a Messi fan. Even I'm a Messi fan. JSK actually. Uh, and another piece of news which we'll discuss quickly before we end the show. The last point, as you can see on the screen, I'm sorry, the second point you can see on the screen. Rafael Guerreiro has been linked to City. Actually, strong links have been coming from Sky Sports and some other reliable outlets. I think Bild is also reporting. I'm not sure, but there have been rumors that Bild is also reporting from Germany. They tend to be quite authentic around this. That we are after Rafael Guerreiro actually. So Rafael Guerreiro, again, it's the same thing that we've talked about throughout the show. Rafael Guerreiro, attacking fullback. He's an experienced Sergio Gomez, I would say, attacking fullback, has killer balls. He's almost getting a left-footed Cancelo, if you'll ask me about Rafael Guerreiro, but he can't defend. He's injury prone. So would I want Rafael Guerreiro, or would I wait for another season? Maybe I would wait for another season. But the counter argument from a few fans here is that you have a Walker, you have a Cancelo, that's it, right? What if one of them is injured? You're just one defensive injury away in that fullback positions from your season almost absolutely going down. Maybe I know Pep can change system and stuff, but then if you're playing a team with fast wingers like a Vinicius, Salah, and all, would you still tuck those midfielders in? So it's a double-edged sword to sign a fullback or wait until the next transfer window. But Rafael Guerreiro, I mean, would you want an Ait Nouri or would you want a Rafael Guerreiro? Again, because those are the two names. I think Sosa will not be done, maybe, but Guerrero and Ait Nouri are the names that have been talked about now. Maybe I would go for Guerrero. I know it's actually difficult. I myself am not able to decide because the tempting thing here is the passes that Guerrero can play from deep, the attacking instincts, and Haaland running through. I just can't leave that. So that is one reason why I want a Guerrero. But then thinking about the absolute stability of the team, the defensive noise, and all of that, maybe an Ait Nouri would be a better thing actually. JSK says, but I wouldn't mind if we go for Messi next season. Finally, he can come to a club that will actually respect him and he can prove Ferguson wrong about he's limited only to La Liga and Barca. I think it will be the perfect time for Messi to get out of the selfish cage, get out of the cage where he's just surrounded by selfish individuals and come to a club where everything is about team spirit, everything is about mutual respect, everything is about appreciating the best qualities in each other and also helping out each other to improve the things that one other is not good at. So I think all of these qualities are the basis of a champion team, and Messi surely deserves to be in an atmosphere like cities and not around in that selfish PSG environment. So I actually think that it would be a perfect time also because Messi could groom our youngsters and 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 also at that age at next year Messi would not be insisting that I will start every match and things like that, right? So Messi can come on in important matches. Pep can manage Messi's minutes. He can groom people. Would be the perfect thing. And then the next move could be to New York FC. The brand will grow. The people inside the club will learn. I mean, the youngsters will learn a lot. It would do great again for the culture being around a legend like Messi. Lot of positives. I mean, personally, I did not want Messi in 2019 and so because I think that was when we were linked with him, right? 2019, that season. I did not want him because at that time Messi would be demanding regular minutes, and at that time I thought it would block the development of other players like Phil Foden was just coming through, right? At that time, if we would have got Messi at that time, maybe it would have blocked the evolution of a Phil Foden. He would surely have got less chances. So, but now I think it's the perfect time. JSK says Lodi. This is interesting. JSK Lodi is not linked. Lodi. I don't know why Lodi is not linked. Maybe Atletico Madrid has. made. Maybe Atletico Madrid has slapped a huge fee on him. That is why Lodi is not linked. Otherwise, Lodi would be a perfect fullback for this system, right? If you do not want to concentrate on defense for your fullback, instead of going for a Rafael Guerreiro who might be defensively susceptible, you. I mean, I won't say that Lodi is a top class left back and stuff in terms of defensively. Offensively, is one of the best in the world. So, but still, in playing in the Atletico Madrid team, Lodi would have that defensive nervous and sense actually. So, I think Lodi would be a better option than your Sosas, Aitnuris, Rafael Guerreros, and stuff like that. Just imagine, guys, Lodi bombarding on that left hand side and Joao Cancelo on this right hand side. Okay, even in this, both tucking in and both waiting to supply balls to Erling Haaland. The opposition team will just give up and say, we will not play. We will not play. The match is yours. Vinay says, why Guerrero? He's not defensively good. He's a disaster. I don't know how he starts in Portugal. Exactly, Vinay. I think we discussed it a few weeks back as well, right? When Rafael Guerrero was linked with us. But he and he's injury prone as well. My one concern is it is fine if you're getting a left back who's not defensively good. Pep will do something about it, I'm sure. But I do not want another injury prone left back there like a Mendy we have had. So that is my concern. I don't want to spend another 40 million, for example, on an injury prone left back, because what that would do is Pep would again be left with him for another 2 3 years, just like what happened after Mendy was injured. So Vinay says Lodi, exactly. Vinay, I don't know why we are not getting linked with him. Jessica says Guerrero is the worst version of Trent. That is the best way you can put it, JSK. Actually, that's a wonderful statement. You put it in a wonderful way that Guerrero is the worst version of Trent, and I can't just imagine, will there be a worst version of Trent in defending as well? In defending, because against Fulham, I think, right, people were pointing out that in the previous weekend he was responsible again of not tracking the runner at the far post for the second goal. That's why Van Dijk had to concede a penalty or something like that. So I can't imagine. No, in that case, if it's the worst version of Trent, then I do not want him. But then again, if Pep wants to play Rafael Guerrero in a inverted fullback system, for example, then maybe you can think about it. Then he does not have a defensive liability, right? Because suddenly you're protected. Or if Pep has that three at the back system in mind where he wants to play wing backs, then I think Guerrero would be the perfect thing. He would not have to defend as much, and so it depends on what formation Pep is. I think Pep has 2 3 formations in the mind. 4-3-3, the formation which we saw, 2-3-5, which we saw earlier in the week. So I think there's one more formation up his sleeve to counter Tuchel and Conte especially. So depends on how many of these formations that Guerrero will fit. Guerrero won't fit in classic 4-3-3. I'm sure about that. Depends on the call that Pep takes actually. Vinay says no doubt defensive abilities of Nauri, but attacking wise, zero. I think that is why we have not gone for Ait Nouri, because Ait Nouri was, I always thought that he was a viable option for us to go into Premier League experience and all. But again, what Pep has been thinking is, I bring in Ait Nouri, but I'm just bringing in a younger version of Nathan Ake, for example, because Nathan Ake can solidly defend too, right, in that left back position. So I actually think that do you want another Natanake sort of player here? No. So Aitnoor is out of question. I think now it's I think Rafael Guerreiro, or I actually don't see anyone coming in, because Sosa is better defensively than Rafael Guerreiro, but is he good? I actually want Theo Hernandez. For me, I think we should be looking at a Renan Lodi or a Theo Hernandez. So these both are the players. I know Theo Hernandez signed a long-term deal at AC Milan, but if you pay the money, I think it's worth to pay 70 80 million for Theo Hernandez actually. Because if we get 100 for Bernardo, maybe you could pay 70 80 for a Theo Hernandez or a Lucas or a Renan Lodi, and then shift forward into that midfield position. See, midfield is not a position where we are like 1 2 injuries away from being absolutely doomed. So just imagine Theo Hernandez, Kyle Walker, the recovery pace on a big Champions League night. That might be something which we are actually missing. And once you sign a Theo Hernandez, suddenly it means that you'll have an option of playing Cancelo just in the midfield position, in the place of a Gundogan, for example, and things like that. So I think we get 100 million for Bernardo. We should look to address the left back position, than go for Lucas Paqueta or someone. JSK's best option is go for Guardiola next season. We can manage with Gomez and Josh. That would be the best thing to happen. JSK actually. Guardiola went away from my mind, but that would be a perfect option actually. Um and I actually think that has more chances of happening, because you look at our track record. What we did, we didn't get Alexis Sanchez, Harry Maguire waited, and then got Ruben Diaz, I think. Then we got Laporte. Then we didn't get Alexis Sanchez, right? We waited, and then we got Riyad Mahrez in the next summer transfer window. So I think there's a list of 7, 8 players where we didn't get someone, and then we waited, and then we went for a better player next season. So looking at the track record of the club, I actually think that we might get Guardiola. See, you look at it. United won't spend that much for Guardiola. Liverpool, their concentration will be on Jude Bellingham, hefty fee. They would not go for Guardiola. Real Madrid have just thumbed up a lot for Antonio Rudiger and co, so they will not go for Guardiola. So Bayern would surely not go for Guardiola because they have effective resources there. So suddenly I think if we wait for next season, Leipzig would be willing to sell, and suddenly you have a free run on Guardiola actually, and that would actually mean maybe next season you could send Sergio Gomez out for loan if you think he's not good enough and stuff, and maybe if an offer comes for Ake, maybe you could send him out next season as well. So I think there are possibilities, but that looks to be the best option. I was just concerned about this Rafael Guerreiro link actually. I don't want him anywhere near the club. Uh, Vinay says, can we play Walker in deep defense with Gomez or Josh Wilson, Esperant, and Cancelo as fullbacks? That is a question, Vinay. I think Walker can do it, but because there'll be recovery pace, but I don't know why Pep has never tried him, because looking at what Pep has done with the formation, I think will against the Spurs. I'm thinking against the Spurs or a Chelsea. We are thinking that, especially against Spurs, we are thinking that Walker will play in that three at the back role, and that formation will be trialed maybe 1 or 2 matches before that Spurs game. I think surely we'll see a three at the back formation to see how it works, because I think we had a complete show on that, on only that specific topic. I think we discussed extensively also that does Pep need to play a three at the back formation to counter Antonio Conte, because we have discussed what happened in 2019 sorry 2016 for example. So there's a strong possibility that we can play a three at the back. So Walker will be important in that. He can surely play in that deep defensive role, I think, because if you can play in a deep defensive role for England with a Harry Maguire, then I think you can play that defensive role in any team in any system. So actually think, and that too alongside the Ruben Diaz, Laporte. See, I think this could actually be the perfect back three formation if Pep wants to go with it. Aymeric Laporte, Ruben Diaz in the center, and Kyle Walker. One has recovery pace, other can pass the ball well, and the one in the middle has excellent physical qualities. I think this is a complete set of centre back partnership: Diaz, Laporte, and Walker. Vinay says Sosa for height and Croatian. Sosa for Croatian, I would say, Vinay. It's only the Croatian link, I think, for Sosa. I know that Sosa can cross well, but see, heading is not the best ability of Erling Haaland. Okay, he can head, he's tall, so surely he'll get some headers. But Haaland was telling in an interview, I think, recently that he is not that good at heading the ball. So Sosa is, I mean, so Sosa just pumping the ball into the box. I don't think that is City's gameplay. So Erling Haaland's heading is not his best attribute. So Sosa is not, he's better than Rafael Guerreiro and Trent defensively, but that doesn't mean that you're very good defensively. It doesn't take a lot to be better than Trent and Rafael Guerreiro defensively. So I think Mendy was good. Mendy was better than Rafael Guerreiro and Trent Alexander-Arnold defensively. So I actually think that going for Sosa is not a good option. I think Guardiol might be the best option actually. Like JSK had mentioned earlier, could tick a lot of boxes. 1920 could build the next generation of your centre backs coming from the academy, like a Luka Mbiti around Guardiol, Luka Mbiti, Wilson Esbrand, Guardiol. So that could be your next generation of centre backs coming up. You could instill some leadership attributes in Guardiol so that he could lead the next generation. So a lot of positives if we get Guardiola, if we wait next season. But everything about this club shows that we will wait next season. I'd be very surprised if we go for Rafael Guerreiro. Surprised, that would be a panic buy. I don't attribute us to make panic buys. We never did. We never did. We never had panic buys. Even when we lost out to Alexis Sanchez at the very last hour, we never did a panic buy. We never paid over the board for Mahrez. So I expect us, especially with this Bernardo Silva saga, dragging on, and we potentially needing to get another player to replace Bernardo Silva. So I don't think there's actually time to do that this Rafael Guerrera deal. And always in the transfer market, it seemed that destiny was not with us, luck was not with us. But when you look back look back down the line, destiny was always with us when you look at the players that got away. So I actually wouldn't force anything in this transfer window. If a player does not want to come, if another club outbids him, let him go there, because for the last 5, 6, 7 years, that is the strategy that has worked well. That is the foundations on which this team has actually been built. So actually, don't want Rafael Guerrera. So we'll see what transfer news comes, but I'm really expecting something big to come out on Bernardo Silva before this weekend match at least. So let us see what happens with Bernardo Silva's future. But like most of the people on this chat were telling, we actually want Bernardo Silva to stay for at least one more year. So that is actually the game plan. So again, thank you so much, guys, for joining me. Had some wonderful comments, had some wonderful discussion. So thank you again for being part of the conversation. It's just wonderful to interact with you guys. So thank you so much again, guys. If you like the video, please click on the like button and also the bell icon and the subscribe button so that you get notifications whenever I come up with new videos. Again, take care, guys, and have a good night.